the solvent to polarity, and end to duality. I'll do my best to make this as short as possible, but I have to share something very important with you. I'll start by sharing some profound words by a very wise woman I know, and I quote, "Most people that think they need a guiding hand are looking for a particular type of hand, one they feel comfortable with. If you were stuck in a well and a hand reached down to help pull you out, would a handful of calluses repulse you? Or would you just be glad there was a hand there to begin with? I know a lot of people who would refuse a calloused hand and wait for one soft and smooth. Either hand is capable of guidance, but the hand full of calluses shows itself full of experience, where the hand that is soft and smooth shows that it has abstained from the hard labors of life. Whether you feel you are stuck in the dark, would you prefer the hand that shows they've been where you are, or the hand that has only watched others be where you are and are glad they are not you? Do you just need a hand soft or calloused, or do you want a soft hand because the calloused hand feels rough?" These wise words are from Gemma Beale. This was an extremely sobering response from Gemma to a commenter on Gemma's channel who felt there needed to be some compassion by Indel towards what she called lost souls in reference to Indel Beale's presentation regarding the event July 31st, 2018. What never ceases to blow my mind is how people insist that those in the know talk sweet to them. They insist that you sugarcoat everything, please, or I can't take it. What they really mean is, if you don't play nice with me, I'm not going to play with you. You hurt my feelings when you speak that way. Now I ask you, who is that speaking when you feel this way? Is it you? Or is it your puppet master? Is it your spirit, or rather your soika consciousness, as the Beales call it, to separate your consciousness from religious overtones? Or is it a foreign entity and a program that wants to hide within your mind because you think it's you? Let me ask you, folks, do you really want someone to play nice with you while you've fallen asleep on a train track while a massive locomotive is barreling down those tracks just about to smash you to bits? Or would you prefer someone who knows a train when they see one? Someone who's been down in that dark well and has pulled themselves out. They yell as loud as they can. They do whatever it takes to wake you up, to get your attention and get you off those damn tracks before the tragedy happens. Real love is not what you've been fooled into believing. And that's exactly why so many of you still can't drag yourselves off this platform and feel such a desperate need every single day to make videos instead of learning and growing your own creative expression just to feed your own ego, to get your face in front of potentially the whole world and bare your souls in an effort to get people to like you. You know it's true. Why continue to lie to yourselves? Your egos have you all running in circles, obeying its every command and leading you by the nose to the beat of every other ego's demands. Aren't you sick of feeling that desperation? Do you even realize that it isn't you? All those victims, bullies, con artists, and narcissists still doing their thing every day, and you all are still buying their shit because it makes your ego feel good. You gain nothing but an artificial emotion while you pay out the nose to get a little bit of that attention yourself with your time, energy, and financial resources. Many people have asked me why I quit making videos of my own and asked if all my videos were wrong since I had shared with them that I was wrong. No. The videos were and still are very true. However, if any of you had actually watched the very last one I uploaded, stating very clearly that I had the intellectual knowing to recognize the problem, but had no real experiential knowing to share what I was sharing, you'd have known exactly why I quit. I told you all that I would only be making videos again once I had that experiential knowing, which comes after intellectual knowing, but you never got to the end of that last video, did you? As most of you know by now, about 3 days after I shared that final note in my last upload, I found the Gemma Beale channel in a very interesting turn of events. And frankly, like most who venture there, I was a bit taken aside with the sternness of the messages. As anyone who knows me knows, I can handle tough talk and hard truth, but I myself felt that inner program coming to the fore every time I listened to one of their podcasts. But because of the intellectual knowledge I had at that time, I was keenly aware that they were also telling the truth, but from actual personal experience, and that if I could just silence that inner feeling, that voice that wanted to resist every word, that they could get me there if I could just get past the callousness of the delivery. And just like I did with books, video makers, and con artists, I did my very best to find holes in the Beals messages too, especially the one stating that love was the virus vector. That one actually pissed me off, and I knew I could blow that one out of the water if I just found the missing link. Just one error, and yes, I probably would have made videos of my own exposing what I had found. But I couldn't. Why? Because there is no missing link. Love is the virus vector, at least what you all know as love. Love is nothing like what you feel it to be, and I'll explain all that at the end of this message. Don't think I didn't spend several months reading everything I could and watching every video I could. I looked for something, anything, where I could rip their entire message about love to shreds, or at least attempt to. And I did all this, by the way, in the middle of a huge messy sale of our home, fixing everything to get a decent price, locating and purchasing another home, doing all I could do to get a fair price on the new purchase, which required lawyers, real estate agents, asshole buyers, the whole 9 yards of real estate bullshit. Then cleaning and packing and more cleaning and unpacking, and then finding all the shit that needed repair and maintenance in the new home, and then fixing them too. I was able to organize everything both inside and outside, including but not limited to planting flowers, vegetable gardens, laying rocks, painting rooms, setting up a small business, you name it. We even had to deal with the flooding of our new home as well. I spent every moment I had after long days of extremely hard work and experiencing complete exhaustion and multiple frustrations during the relocation, searching deep into the Beals' work. So please, tell someone else you don't have the time. You get to choose every moment of every day exactly what is important to you. You choose your emotional crybaby ego that demands a soft, inexperienced hand to drag it kicking and screaming out of the dark well you are currently in, or listening and learning from someone who can show you that you have your own ability to stand up, take personal responsibility with impeccability, stop trespassing on everyone around you, and begin advancing your own cognition into a whole new paradigm without the mind virus I spoke so much about early on. As I've always said, you can either show people who they are or who they are not. By your own example, you demonstrate what and who you are. You can begin to lead, or you can follow some other ego into the darkness you're all crying about right now. Smooth hands are often slippery and can drop your ass further down that well. But hey, they do speak softly and have beautiful, amazing videos and ways to soothe your tired soul, right? Well, here's something you don't know. I had no idea until I was challenged, with impeccability I might add, by Jimma Beal herself, just how much power this residual programming of the mind virus had on me through its constant attacks on my own ego. You will never know the insidious pain that you must transcend until you too are challenged in this way and face that abyss, no matter how much terror it creates as a reaction to its exposure. Your egos have been programmed to kick and scream and cause horrific terror within every cell of your body when it is threatened in any way. You all know this feeling. It's the one that makes you reject any ugly truth because real truth exposes that fraud. The little voice behind the curtain pulling all your puppet strings with furious little responses to anything that doesn't create its comfort, its protection from exposure, anything that may disrupt its power over your consciousness. Don't fall for this tyrant. Stop refusing help from someone who has witnessed more train wrecks and tragedies in his life than most do in many lifetimes just because his voice is calloused, rough, experienced, and totally pragmatic. I don't know about you, but I'll take someone who's tapped into that heavy, dark, Louisville Slugger energy that'll have my back in this game over any lightweight Love and Lighters Nerf bat energy any day. I no longer feel a need to waste my time calling the parasites out because now I know exactly what the purpose of all that was. These narcissistic human parasites that rob you of your energy every moment of every day, playing the victim or the bully roles whenever it suits their agendas and manipulating you, have their purpose too, and are being used to determine just who's who in this current reality. I feel no push to put my face out there any longer and take the hits for trying to help anybody who refuses to help themselves. I no longer have a dog in that race. What I do have now, however, is the experiential knowing I never had prior to meeting the Beals, which, by the way, is just a pin name they use because they don't have a dog in that race either, so get over the name. And what you victims and bullies have failed to realize in your game is that you continue to attract more abuse and situations that create the necessity for abuse to yourself every time you claim to be one or behave as the other. It's by design. And you are creating your own victimization and bullying opportunities when you put that energy out there. Okay, I want to discuss two more things with you before I end this, and those two are compassion and love. Starting with compassion. Are you aware that this false compassion you all demand from everyone else is also a program to eventually create a Stockholm syndrome to you towards your abusers? That when they get called out or exposed in any way, you feel the need to defend them. Why? Because when those who are hidden behind the scenes that have enslaved humanity for eons are finally exposed, what will you all do? Will you imprison them? Give them 3 hots and a cot for eternity, or spend fortunes trying to rehabilitate them into non-abusers of humanity? Really? Seriously, I find this hysterically amusing. How much of you want to bet that you'll eventually just let them go out because of your compassion when they cry foul? When they play that card, that compassion program, and make you feel guilty for hurting their feelings? Is this not exactly what's happening now in politics? The same shit we all do to each other unknowingly? Enabling these abusers to start this horrendous game all over again in your new paradigm or any other reality that they are free to make their home? Think this over. I'll wait. Now, finally, the big one. Let's talk about love. Love is not anything like you've ever known. Nothing. Love is not a feeling. That type of love is tyranny and ownership. Just like you all have been programmed to feel another person's vagina or penis is yours the minute you agree to have a sexual relationship. You own them, right? You enslave them to submit only their sexual desires to you. Their penis or their vagina is yours, and they are not to use it with anyone else. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, that is the programmed love you have been infected with in order to become the very slaves you all are. The gods did it to you and called it love, and now you are doing it to each other, and you still call it love. The creative expression of real love is nothing of the kind. So what is love? I share the same message as those who have called it the solvent to polarity or an end to duality. I have gained actual experiential knowing with this by extracting from my personal experiences over my entire lifetime and learning from those with really rough hands who care more for the plight of humanity than you will ever know. People who give their all because they see the complete and utter destruction of the potential of humanity, and it frustrates them to no end when they watch humanity take itself down. This idea is not original. It has been shared by many in various ways, but I feel I can expand upon it and therefore share my experience in an effort to show people what they are up against. Love, in a nutshell, is impeccability. Impeccability with your word, your every deed, every action you take. With every creation in all the multiple universes out there, but especially right here where you are standing. There is no future for this species if we don't fix this mess right here, right now. And that, my friends, is unconditional, not to be broken, which is why there are what are called universal laws or rules within creation, like it or not. Now, Calling them laws and rules is where the whole thing gets messy, because we think of these as restrictions. I think of them as a perfect design. And you have no right within this perfect design to trespass upon any other creative expression, nor interfere in any way without their invitation or consent to become a participant within their creation. And because this design has been rejected and overruled by a monstrosity of a beast that you all call gods and goddesses, abdicating your own positions as creative expressions within your own right, you allow these dead ancestors to continue to work through each and every one of you who spreads their infectious programs. It is impeccability within the entire cosmos and beyond. To break it down just a bit and to reiterate, what love is remembering who you are, knowing who everyone else is, seeing them as creative expressions in their own right, remaining impeccable, and never, ever trespassing on another's expansive expression within creation. However, the allowance of tyranny of any kind is not impeccability or love or compassion. It's enabling the destruction of this entire universe and beyond, because you can't see past your own noses. If you just take your focus off yourselves for a minute to realize that by working to fix this problem for the entire planet, meaning you cut the crap happening within your own being and show people how to do the same work to eliminate these programs that are running amok on autopilot, you assist in advancing this entire species into a higher frequency of reality, and you, by default, get to come along for the ride. Now, I'll end by saying that without the massive amount of knowledge that can be found within the pages of currently 29 books, with more to come, written and published by the Beals, what you will ultimately discover when all is said and done is that you have actually aligned yourselves with the very cancer consciousness that has plagued humanity since the beginning of time, and are now infecting others with all the programs of slavery and doing the very work of those you all claim is your enemy. The original virus has been destroyed. Let's just get that clear. But you still maintain all the programs and therefore have now become the very entity yourselves, infecting and reinfecting one another with their original plan to destroy this creation. And you're doing a damn fine job, I might add. That's all right, though, because we need this game level to max itself out so we can get it over with and finish the process of cleanup and continue creating a whole new paradigm without those who insist on remaining a player in the old game of death and destruction and slavery. The old game is over, and only those who wish to keep it going will experience exactly how that game dies out by attrition. Those with any wisdom at all will quit playing it, because without any players, the game comes to a dead stop. You continue to enslave yourselves and each other, or make your move to create a new paradigm, leaving this one in the dust. There are those of us who came here just for the purpose of cleaning up the mess when the chaos has reached its completion. There will be more who come to recreate a new paradigm without the tyranny. The choice is yours. You either face those programmed, ego-infected responses head on and learn to lead yourself with impeccability and zero trespass, or deal with the plight of those who refuse to face their own inner petty tyrant and go down in the chaos with those who have made it their pleasure to take you down with them. I guarantee you that facing your greatest enemy, that one within, is far less painful. Even though it won't feel like that initially, once you face it, refuse to allow it to break you, all further attempts it makes to repair the relationship you once had with it are a bit humorous at best. It eventually whimpers away in defeat, and you come out as the impeccable creator that you were intended to be. Enough said. You either get this or don't. Your potential as a human being is yours to do with as you will. Far be it from me to trespass against your wish, if that would be to destroy yourself. I still have a long way to go and lots of personal work to accomplish within myself, and so therefore I don't have any time to concern myself over anyone who doesn't give two shits about this entire species, always looking for a way out of taking personal responsibility and finding the nearest escape route. I'm telling you now, there is none. So if you're ready to end the tyranny, begin first with that voice in your head that demands soft words dripping with honey. The real truth is ugly, and there's nothing that can sweeten it. Anyway, all the best for all concerned, whatever that best may be. Take care.